Yo guys, it's Jake and welcome back to another video. And today in this video I'm joined by my dad.
Hi there.
And today in this video is going to be the start of a new series where basically me and my dad talk about basically what's been happening in the football community.
And a lot has been happening in the last few days. Yeah. I think Jake wants to start with Costa potentially going to China for £30 million a year. Personally, because it's Chelsea and because of their chairman, they can afford to say no to the transfer fee. They don't need the money. They don't need to sell. But if they have an unhappy player, it's
who wants to go?
Who wants to keep an unhappy player? I think he will go, but I don't think he'll go potentially until the summer. Which means, what sort of Costa are they going to have now for the next 6 months? A happy Costa or an unhappy Costa? So, I mean a happy or an unhappy, not happy. Yeah. So, if it was any other club apart from Chelsea, they probably would accept the thousands, millions that was on offer.
Yeah.
But Chelsea are a wealthy club and they can afford to say no to this offer. The problem they have is how do they keep Costa happy until potentially the end of the season?
They probably won't keep him happy.
Well, it's always a problem when you have an unhappy player in the dressing room because of other teammates wanting the same sort of money. I mean, another possibility is Chelsea could match what the Chinese club are offering him in wages. But I don't think they will. I think that they will sell him. But I don't think it will happen until the summer.
Okay, so on to Spurs' impressive 4-0 win against West Bromwich Albion on the weekend.
I'm pleased you brought that up.
Yeah.
As you know, I'm nearly 46, and I think yesterday's performance was... We've obviously beaten better teams than West Brom, Chelsea, Man City, Arsenal over the years. But I think a most complete performance for 90 minutes I have not seen. I mean I mean West Brom are under Tony Pulis are a hard team to beat. Defensively. You know, they only lost 1-0 against Chelsea and that was, you know, in the last few minutes.
I mean West Brom aren't a bad team.
They're not. You know, they are, you know, 7th I think. But the game was over after 25 minutes, you know, and I mean, some of the football, as bizarrely as it, you know, obviously Kane got the man of the match, but for me, the man of the match was really their goalkeeper. Which, you know, to say man of the match, you know, for a goalkeeper who's conceded 4 goals, it could have and should have been really 6 or 7. It was with one of the best performances I've seen. For years.
Not only this season, over many seasons.
Yeah, which sets them up very nicely for next week when they go to the Etihad, especially with Man City losing today 4-0.
4-0.
Normally, I always worry about Spurs playing any of the big clubs, but you know what? I'm confident.
Okay, so today we have seen Everton beat City by 4-0. How do you...
I thought, looking at this was not a game that Man City could afford to lose.
No, it doesn't.
I thought even if they drew was a bad result. But I think what's worrying for Manchester City and Manchester City fans is the way they lost. They got walloped by Everton, who are in no real form this season, and I think Pep is finding the Premiership difficult. It's not like the German league or you know, the Spanish league.
It's like he tries to play the same football, but it's not working with the different team.
I think apart, you know, the problem is in the Premiership, unlike, you know, La Liga or the German league, is it's a strong league. Everyone is good, and everyone can beat everyone. But I think this 4-0 loss, I think City will go into the transfer market this month. I think defensively, you know, they're shambolic. Going forward, I think they're fine. They've got Silva, De Bruyne, Aguero.
I'm not a big fan of John Stones.
I think he's found it hard,
Yes.
but I think the problem is he's got poor defenders around him.
Yeah.
And I think, he needs good, experienced defenders. He's only young. He is making mistakes. The fourth goal was a bad mistake. He should have just walloped that into the stand, and no one would have said anything. But he didn't. He tried to be too clever, and
Cost them.
Yeah, it did cost them big time. So Spurs going there next week, it really sets it up. And obviously we were at Etihad last season when Spurs went there, and Kane got the winner with 5 minutes to go. I'm hoping this season's game could be, won before the 85th minute, but let's hold on to our horses and not get too carried away. And I know you wanted to, I know we talked about the Spurs game, but you wanted to just mention Kane's hat-trick.
Yes.
He obviously had a busy week with the birth of his first daughter. So it was a great end to the week. He could have scored more.
Oh, definitely.
He would have scored more had he not been playing Ben Foster.
Yeah.
His first goal, we were there. We thought it went over the bar, and it just clipped the top half of the post and dipped. His second goal was a great goal. I mean, Kyle Walker.
Kyle Walker's amazing.
Lovely pass. Didn't give up on the wing. Played it, and we watched it again today, and the way it bounced just before it got to Kane, and it was a great technique.
It was a hard goal to score.
It was a really hard goal.
Even though it was half an open goal, it bounced just before he shot.
He did well, and I think the last goal really summed up the afternoon. I mean, apart from the goal itself, the move and
The move was amazing.
Ali, the way he just sort of dinks the ball over the defender back to Kane, the 1-2, and Kane literally just rolled it in as if he was in the school playground. It was fantastic. It was a really good end to, as I say, one of the best matches I've seen Spurs play in the last 45 years. And lastly, on this first edition of this show,
It's Dimitri Payet.
yeah, and I just don't think you understand.
Yeah.
He signed last year. He even signed an extension to his contract in the summer. And he wants to go, which is hysterical, really, because that's all the West Ham fans had to look forward to in their sad lives every other week, was to see the only one good player they've got, and it looks like he's going to be leaving.
But let's talk about he's not training with the first team anymore.
Apparently he's refusing to play, which I think is, just awful. I mean, he's been paid thousands every week, and the least you could do is, if you don't want to play and you want to move, that's fine, but at least go about it in the right way, I think.
Yes.
And I think he's now, instead of being loved forever by the West Ham fans, I heard they were singing songs, not nice songs about him, and I think he'll never be a legend now at West Ham, because of the way he's acted to get a move.
But guys, that's the end of episode 1. That's it from me and my dad. If you want to watch this again, and maybe you want to talk about the other thing, like Payet kicking off and us going to the Etihad next week, then sure. You can watch this again if you just watch it again on YouTube. But that's it from me. Goodbye.